I got involved in art when I was really young. I think I was around 3 years old. I got really serious when I was 7, but I started with three-dimensional art because I was forced to play outside a lot. So I played in the mud, and I made a lot of mud statues. And eventually, I stained my parents' walls with a pen, and that kind of got me obsessed with Black Indian ink and other ink-related art forms. As time went on, I became more obsessed with different expressions of art, such as the Renaissance and other classical artists, and they inspired me to go on to do community service and other artistic work. The style of art that I use has a lot of meaning to me personally because, at least I'd like to humbly speak to this, but I've successfully integrated pop art with the importance of the great masters of art history. I've always been, like I said, I've always been inspired by Michelangelo, Raphael. I try to adapt my style in a way that is more illustrative, something that is more flamboyant, kind of like eye candy. Expressionists, for example, they create things that draw your eyes in. So I really wanted to communicate something that is a little bit more entertaining for the modern man, but still hold the principles that the fine arts had maybe 500 years ago. Anyone who looks at my art, I want them to know that my purpose in creating what I'm making is for communication. What I want to usher other artists into is the idea that when we make something, we want the viewer to understand what we're trying to say. Not because they make us whole, but because we acknowledge that as artists, we are communicators. And in order to communicate, you must have somebody who receives the message and someone who sends it. Without one of those, communication ceases to exist, and thus art is no longer a thing. So them perceiving my art is just as important as me making it. And that's kind of the principles that I've worked on when I do street art, when I do ink, when I teach about the Renaissance, when I teach about pop art. So those are my primary principles when looking at my pieces, and I hope people absorb that.